Let's help with thesaurus.com. No, I didn't. I tried to find it on thesaurus, couldn't find it, and then it just popped into my head what the word was. The word was triumvirate.
It means 3 judges.
That's like, yeah, it's actually goes back to like Greek, I think.
Does it have any relation to the dog with 3 heads? Because that was also a great thing.
No, that was a
Tricanine-it.
Yeah.
Tridoggerate.
3 doggos.
That's the 3 doggos.
3 doggos. 3 doggos.
Tri-doggos.
Oh no, there's a quiet buzz.
It's very, very Greek.
Here, watch. I'll make it go away.
Did the
There's
buzz
still going to be a buzz.
Now it's
Hello,
probably just a hum.
hello everyone. We're a little early. We were slightly early, and then we talked
Now we're on
randomly
time.
for a while. But now, all right. So it looks like we're streaming. We're good.
All right, let's start the show. Welcome. This is episode 108 of Awesome Hardware. You're watching Side A. This is a show that Paul and I do every single Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here on Twitch.tv, where we stream the entire broadcast in its entirety. Or you can watch us on YouTube, where we split it up into 2 halves. Again, this is Side A. After we cut on YouTube, we'll be heading over to Paul's channel. Side B, you can go ahead and check that out. I put a link in the description below if you're watching on YouTube, of course. And this is a fun show where we like to have a couple beers while we talk about tech news and sometimes things that aren't tech news related at all. Sometimes it's a bit of a variety show. We like to switch it up here and there. So
it's a great introduction, Kyle.
Well, thank you very much, Paul.
Fantastic introduction.
It's almost like I've done this 107 other times before. But you know, we keep it going. We hope that
it's more refined though every time. Every time,
yep,
it's just a little bit better.
Right. Maybe one day we'll perfect it.
It's a steady increase.
Yep. So yep. No. Yep. I'm gonna agree with that.
With minimal awkward pauses.
Absolutely. So we are gonna go ahead and dive right into it because Paul and I actually we might be getting sushi later tonight.
There's a high chance of sushi in the future.
Yep, but the place closes at 9 p.m.
They do have so we got to make sure we're on point here.
Yeah,
we get through things.
You have to roll through this.
We move from A to B. So
nothing is more important than sushi.
First off, let's quickly plug our stores.
All right, so my store is bitwit.tech/store. I'm still selling a bunch of stuff. Some things are out of stock. I can't remember which ones are, but
what about these glasses?
The glasses should be in stock.
Glasses are in stock.
All right, those are 20-ounce bad boys. So same capacity as Paul's.
Look at that.
We have the same capacity. His
might be up to 4 of them at the same time via this handy drop down menu.
Might be a little girthier than mine, but that's okay. They hold the same amount.
A little bit.
Just restocked the Evolution shirts. Those are back in stock.
All right.
And Paul is also selling stuff in his store. Paulshardware.net.
Yay.
He's got a wide selection of goodies, including polo shirts,
all fun things.
hoodies, more glasses.
Here's my glasses. Just oozing out the top, my glasses.
Paul's glasses come with beer.
Yeah,
they come with the beer inside of them.
It's not true.
Yeah.
And we're selling goods. We can't just make false claims about them.
Damn it.
I'm sorry.
This is the only way that I get people to buy things.
Unless we have like fine print, but we don't have fine print, so we have to immediately say, actually, that's false. Because I mean, if we want to cover our butts.
This is true.
All right. Speaking of covering our butts,
let's cover some stuff on the internet, like the things that we talk about in To Fund or Not to Fund, a special segment that we like to do sometimes on my half of the show.
We have to say cheers.
Cheers to each other. Cheers to the show and all of you.
All you guys out there.
Hopefully you're of legal drinking age if you decide to drink with us.
Drink responsibly.
Drink safe.
Follow it up with some sushi.
Drink a lot, but also drink responsibly.
All
right. So this is To Fund or Not to Fund.
I did a bunch of weeding in my backyard this weekend.
Whoa. That's TMI, Paul.
Yeah, it was great.
Sounds like a Periscope I did recently. We don't like to talk about.
There's no relation there, but all right. So this wow, this has jumped up quickly.
Wow.
This morning.
It was at 36K, now it's at 41K.
It's already at 41K.
We're looking at crowdfunded campaigns for those of you who are new to this whole thing. We're just checking them out to see what's trending.
We'll tell you which of these you should buy into.
Yep.
Now this one does seem like probably more legit because it is by the makers of Roomba.
It's by the Roomba guy.
So the Roomba people have made the Turtle. And it is a solar-powered weeding robot for your garden, which I recently, having spent so much time gardening my garden and hating how many weeds and stuff are there, am somewhat interested in.
Yeah.
So Now, at first I was like, oh, does it like yank stuff up or whatever? No, it's basically like
A little weed whacker in there.
Yeah, it's a little mini weed whacker that goes
piece
around.
Of nylon wire underneath that spins anytime it detects a little shrub that's less than an inch tall.
Yeah.
So it just goes over it, chops it down, and the theory here is if you run it every day, you don't actually need to pull the weed completely out by the root, because it'll just sweep it regularly, and it'll just keep chopping it down. And it'll detect, if it's a plant that's longer than or taller than an inch, it'll just go by it. You can also put little guards around plants that you want to protect so that it knows not to chop them up. I'd love to see someone pull a prank with this, like put it in their neighbor's backyard who likes to grow like actual weed, like marijuana, and just have it take out and destroy their entire weed garden. That would only be awesome.
The very small plants.
You'd have to get them early on.
Yeah.
You'd have to get them, before they start budding, tiny. Obviously. But it looks like it's got some pretty heavy-duty wheels to, kind of trek across the soil. All right.
Solar-powered.
It's solar-powered, right? So
that's cool.
It would probably lose to a Roomba in a fight if it was indoors.
You've got these little metal brackets that you put around your plants because if you're growing small plants, they need time to grow before they're large enough for the turtle to recognize them as larger plants. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing that I immediately realized is like, okay, it's judging whether or not to kill the plant based on how big the plant is. So this would not solve my problem of like already having 2-foot tall weeds in my backyard.
Right.
which there's a lot less of them now, but there's still a significant amount of them out there.
This would definitely preempt that a bit.
So yeah, you gotta you gotta already have like a relatively well tended garden, and then this will go around and whack off the it'll whack off the tiny buds.
Beautifully said, Paul.
There.
Beautifully said. You should
around.
market for these gentlemen.
Simple design there.
You know what?
Tiny weed whacker. Do you ever have to replace the nylon thing there?
I would imagine maybe.
It's my weed whacker, that's what I have to do constantly.
Yeah.
Replace the damn nylon thing.
Right.
Wind that thing around in there.
I'm sure it lasts a while, and it's probably easy to replace.
Yeah, so super early birds could have gotten it for $200. Right now, to get in, there are still less than 50 left for the $225, not quite as early bird option here. So $225 right now. Estimated delivery May of 2018. Only shipping to certain countries. You also get a package of the plant collars. Super useful. After those are gone, it's going to jump up to $250, which seems like that'll be. See, why? There's already 3 backers who are just like, no, I don't want to
give
pay
you extra money.
$225.
I'll give you just some.
I'm just going to go straight for the full price.
I'm rich.
But anyway, I think that could potentially be useful, but let's hold off.
Now I know what to
judgment.
get you for Christmas, Paul.
Let's see what other potential beauties here are to fund or not to fund.
Next up, we've got the Arsenal. This is the Intelligent Camera Assistant. It's already been funded $1.3 million of its $50,000 goal.
$50,000. All right.
So obviously this caught my eye for that reason alone.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I have to see what's going on here. And this is more so geared towards the gearhead, if you will, who's into photography and camera work and things like that. Dimitri was the first to come to mind. However, it uses AI to take the perfect shot. So if you're a professional or avid photographer, you know that anytime you're about to take a shot of any sort of environment, you have to sort of tailor the different settings, right? You have to change your ISO, you got to adjust your aperture, your shutter speed. All these things need to be sort of in the right balance for the particular environment you're shooting in. So this is just a sensor that actually has 18 different environmental questions, so to speak, that it will ask and go through. It'll just not even presets. It'll actually just run down a list of.
Are you outside? Of
18 different environmental factors. It'll analyze where you are, what you're looking at, and then from there it'll automatically, dynamically adjust all those various camera settings.
Is there a large aluminum structure 90 degrees to your right?
What would that have anything to do with?
It might be reflecting.
Oh, right. Yeah, things like that. So there details. They are. Is someone in a coma?
Okay. Is there someone in a coma? All right.
Is there
how many megapixels?
Tripod vibration.
How many
someone
megapixels
whacking off next to you?
Image stabilization.
So it basically takes the perfect shot, and they got a nice little before and after here.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. It also does stacking. It can do photo stacking, so it can actually take, let's say, multiple images of the same scene at different exposures and then overlap those photos to basically give you a high dynamic range image, if that makes sense.
It was detecting wind shake there.
It was detecting wind shake.
So it's
very smart.
Decreasing the shutter speed.
It's very observant. Yes, exactly. So it's very reactive based on what you're shooting. So this is an example of them stacking 3 photos of different exposures to get sort of a nice high dynamic HDR effect.
This basically replaces photographers.
So yes, it's as if you're
we don't need photographers anymore.
If you're a lazy ass photographer,
you just put this thing and then have a nice camera.
Right.
Buy your way to taking amazing photos.
This is how Skynet starts. So,
but see, it can't frame the photo for you though. It cannot.
Not yet. That's the patch update.
You buy
the tripod head attachment, and it'll just exactly know how to frame it. It'll do rule of thirds or rule of fifths or whatever the hell you want, and it'll just boom. It'll be a better photographer than anyone.
It can't tell you what to point the camera at though.
Dimitri's
not yet.
Dimitri's in trouble, guys.
Oh, look at that! I love the time lapses with the clouds.
So 150 for the early bird, 175 if you're not so early. That's a lot to pay to be a lazy photographer.
Yeah. I mean, that's. Wait, how much?
That's what I think. 150 to 175. I mean, if you're a diehard photographer.
What's the camera compatibility? Do you need?
Sony, Nikon, Canon, and
just any of them?
Fuji, all the big ones. All the big.
That has a USB connector. I would imagine, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, that sounds like
$1.3 million. Clearly, people want it.
Ansel Adams is rolling in his grave.
Yep.
All right.
Poor Ansel Adams.
Let's talk about the Pilot, a smart earpiece language translator. It's a
Babblefish.
It's a Babblefish.
Yes, that's what I put in the notes. Real life Babblefish is
right.
$4.4 million funded.
Wow.
You thought the arsenal was hot cakes.
Well, this replaces translators. It's like almost all of the stuff we're talking about. I guess everything replaces stuff, right? Like the turtle thing replaces gardeners.
Yeah.
The arsenal replaces photographers. And now we're replacing the need for translators.
Yep.
Yay,
technology.
Killing jobs.
Yep.
All right, so $200 for the Pilot is all that's available for this.
Right.
And
you can pre-order it. I think that's actually sold out or no longer available. You can pre-order it for $250 now.
Oh, you just have to go directly.
It's gone up. It looks like
we made too much money on Indiegogo.
Yeah, they probably have a cutoff. Like fuck you. So this guy on the right, he's the owner, the founder or whatever, and apparently he said he got the idea for making this not from Hitchhiker's Guide to a Galaxy.
No way.
Which I think is total bullshit. But he said that he got the idea after meeting a French girl while he was traveling abroad, and not being able to communicate with her because she spoke very little English. Which I don't know if this is the French girl, but it looks like.
Okay. It
looks like they're platonic friends, so even though he can now understand her, it doesn't make him any better at getting women. That's clearly what's going on here. I guess it works very similarly to Google Translate, if you've ever used that, because there is a voice feature there.
Yeah.
We were kind of using it a bit in Taiwan. It was sort of spotty, so I think that's really what's going to make or break this sort of technology is how accurate the translation is. Because if it's just sort of jumbled or still half broken sentences, it's.
Oh no! Dogs!
Is that what I think it is?
Loud noises.
Is that what I think it is?
Loud noises.
Should I go do the thing or no?
I'll go. It's my house.
Okay, you do it.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that we have an unexpected visitor. Or an unexpected delivery, perhaps. All right, Paul's going to the door. He's opening the door. I can't see him, but I can see that there's now more light coming into the house, indicating that the door has been opened. It looks like the door has been closed, but I no longer hear Paul. It looks like Paul is now outside of the house. I think Paul's dead. I think that's what's just happened. Whoever came here has just murdered Paul. Oh God, if there was ever a time to get swatted, I hope that would work out perfectly, right? If we got swatted right now, it would be like, oh, thank God you're here. My friend just got murdered. Oh no, it's a pizza. It's just a pizza. I thought you were dead. I'm so glad you're alive with pizza no less. All right. Oh, Jesus. No, he's okay, everyone. No more rips. Paul is alive. He's alive and well with pizza. Is this pizza from Brian?
I would imagine, right?
Brian, you son of a gun. You son of a bitch. Thank you, Brian. Maraxit in chat, if you're watching, which I'm sure you are. Thank you very much for delivering us a pizza. Which I see Paul's getting some plates out. He's getting stuff out. Sorry for the headphone users in chat. We apologize. It's not from Linus. Linus would never send us a pizza. He'd send us a pipe bomb. Alright. Sweet. What kind of pizza is it?
It's like pepperoni, sausage, and ham.
Ooh. It's a meaty one. He knows we like our meat.
You got red peppers?
Hell yeah.
You want Parmesan?
No. My favorite pizza? RGB pipe bomb, to be corrected. To be sure. Yeah, well, geez, guys. I guess... What's your guys' favorite pizza? What is your favorite pizza in the world? I don't care what it is. It could be peanut M&Ms. Peanut M&M pizza. I'd still love you. I think you're really weird and never hang out with you, but...
It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
You know... Oh, Hero.
Oh my goodness.
Hero's drooling and he just shook off and sprayed drool everywhere.
Ew. Hero, no. You're so gross. You're such a gross dog.
He just wants to be loved.
You're sick. He wants to be loved and loved with meat.
Did I say pepperoni and sausage? I meant vegetarian. This is an all vegetarian.
This is all veggie.
Pizza with only veggies.
That's why I can eat it.
Here's
I've been eating more meat lately.
additional
Thank you.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Was it because you started to realize you had no strength? You know?
No,
you
had nothing to do
just-
with that.
You
I literally felt no better or worse.
felt weak all the time.
I felt no better or worse, really. I mean, my shits were a lot easier back then. But at some point, I was just like, I really miss eating this cow.
Yeah, well, you know.
I love
sometimes-
cow.
Alright, so let's not get
And
too
pig.
distracted here. But Brian, thank you so much for
Thank you,
sending this.
Brian.
Assuming that was, of course, you, Brian. You're very kind.
Yep.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So which of these should we fund? I'll be honest.
I know you're gonna pick the Weed Whacker.
Yeah, but I mean the smart earpiece language translator. I mean, I have to see it reviewed. I have to see someone use it. But that just seems so incredibly useful for travel and anything like that.
True.
I mean, especially depending on how many languages it can
But
pick up and translate and all that kind of stuff.
wouldn't the other person the foreigner that you're interacting with also need one? Or you would have to like give them one?
Yeah,
And
potentially.
then wouldn't that be weird? Like someone
Here,
gives
put
you
this-
like an
put this
earpiece,
in your ear.
like you don't know who the fuck they are. You don't even know. You never even said a coherent word to them before, and now they're like, stick this in your ear,
So it
asshole.
needs a partner product that's like a little. You talk into it and then it.
Right. Hello, this is a new technology.
Just like a version that's a speaker that just speaks it out loud for you or something.
I am not crazy.
Yeah.
Put this in your ear, please.
Exactly.
That's what it should say. It should be able to say that. That's the first thing it should say.
Yeah.
And then
In all languages somehow.
Yes. At the same time, it just rolls through all of them.
All right.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, I agree with you. That would be a pretty cool thing if it worked well. But let's move on, shall we? Because we've got some other things to talk about here, including hot and heavy hardware. Whoa! It's hardware that's hot and heavy. That's why it's called hot and heavy hardware. All right. The first thing on the agenda here is a fun little product, or a series of products from Logitech. They've developed a wireless charging mouse pad that is pretty genius. This article comes from Ars Technica. Thank you guys there. Now, wireless charging from the get-go.
Wasn't there another company that had something similar to this? Or are we not allowed to talk about that yet?
Asus?
I didn't name the company because if we're not supposed to talk about it, I didn't want to say what the name of the company was.
Well, I was talking about something that they had at CES, so it's that.
No, I'm
the thing
talking about
thinking
something at Computex.
I wouldn't know much about that, Paul.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's move on then. All right. So what does this do, Kyle? It's a wireless
mouse pad.
With a mouse pad that charges
your
via
mouse
the mouse pad
while you're gaming, so you'll never.
That's nothing like the thing I saw at Computex.
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe because I didn't see that thing that you're talking about at Computex. I didn't see it. But I feel like this article wouldn't have been written like with such like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, if that had been.
Well, like I said, I'm not positive. I'm not positive if it was something that they were just showing to press.
Ah. Okay.
That wasn't being talked about publicly yet.
Did they put like that?
But I remember it because I actually didn't go and see it. I was told about it, but I didn't go and see it.
I think I know what you're. Yeah.
Okay, but like I said, I don't. Okay. Anyway, point being, hey, look what Logitech did.
Yay. Okay. So anyway, this is cool because wireless charging in the past was kind of pointless. Like you still had to have your device or whatever on a pad. This works because the mouse is always gonna be on the pad. Like you don't ever have to remove the mouse in very rare instances. Or you never have to like take it off the pads, which means it's always going to be charging while you're using it. That's pretty sweet.
Cool.
The bundle, the PowerPlay bundle is $100. It includes a wireless charging base, 2 switchable surfaces, so you get hard or soft surfaces.
That's kind of nice
for mousing, and a power core module. That's what they're calling it, a power core, which is the small little puck that is inserted into a compatible PowerPlay.
That's this thing.
PowerPlay mouse. So that's a little puck. Looks like it goes sort of where the weight tray would originally go, and that's how it sort of gets its power. It's not a Qi charger. It's not a Qi charger, not the QI charger, which is actually pronounced Qi for some reason. It's not a Qi charger, but it's a proprietary in-house technology made by Logitech that's based on magnetic resonance wireless power transfer. And basically the way that works is the power core, the little puck that's in there. I don't know why that picture's there. But the little puck that goes into the mouse.
I said it looks like the Batmobile.
Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe that's true. So the power core puck that goes into the mouse has a small antenna that communicates with another antenna, or maybe several antennas that are in the mat.
Oh.
When power flows through one coil, which it's going to, then the other resonates, and that power can be turned into electricity. It's all very scientific.
Batmobile.
At launch, there's going to be 2 supported mice: the G902,
Batmobile,
which is a modified G900,
Batmobile,
and the G703.
I don't know.
G703.
Wheels.
You gotta be like pulling up the picture as I'm talking about.
Sorry. Here's the picture.
It's the one with the both of them, the white and the black one.
Yeah, there it is.
The G703 is the white one, I believe.
Perfect.
Similar to the G403. Those are both available later this month. The mouse can charge anywhere on the mat, so it doesn't need to be like centered or off to one side or the other, which would really suck if that were the case.
Yeah, that would be lame.
And the whole bundle will be available on August 20th, and the aforementioned mice, again, will be ready later this June. So I feel like this is probably going to take off. The only thing this is missing is RGB. I mean, the little G logo on the little power adapter there is RGB, but we need more RGB.
The mouse isn't?
You know, I think the mouse might be. It doesn't say whether it is or not, so I don't know. Wow. I would imagine it is, but I'm talking about the mouse pad itself. They got to step it up to like Razer quality.
Oh, it needs to have like
the Firefly,
the RGB.
The trimmer
on the outside.
Yeah, they got to. It's got to have everything.
That's definitely the first thing that I think about.
Yeah.
When I look at this.
I mean, come on. Because, some people out there, they're going to be like, well, this is really cool, but I'm still going to buy the Firefly because it looks pretty. I'm sorry. It's just where we are now. It's what this has come to. So, keep an eye out for that. Maybe we'll take a look at it.
It does
later.
overcome one of the 2 main problems with wireless mouse.
Them dying.
One is the mouse being charged. 2 is the mouse's connectivity with the wireless receiver, wherever that happens to be, which in most cases is not an issue at this point. But in situations where there's lots of interference, it can be.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Moving on. Samsung. You guys have probably seen this already 1,000 times.
Look at this.
Super ultra-wide monitor.
They've probably not 1,000 times.
Maybe like 500.
Look how wide that. What did they just have? What is this? Excel? This is Excel.
Yeah. It probably goes all the way to Z.
Yeah.
Now this is 49 inches. Jesus, 49 inches. 32 by 9 aspect ratio.
Yeah. So 16 by 9 side by side.
Yep, two 16 by 9 side by side, and actually two 1920 by 1080 side by side, because it's 3840 by 1080 is the resolution. It's QLED quantum dot, supporting HDR10 standard, and it features AMD FreeSync 2.
Cool.
FreeSync 2, the latest FreeSync available. 1 millisecond response time, 144 hertz refresh rate. So not only would this be a good monitor for ultra productivity, as you see in the Excel spreadsheet there, but also you can do some serious gaming, especially if you have, let's say, an upcoming Vega GPU to push that 144 hertz refresh rate. I'm sure that would be a pretty fun panel to game on. Could you imagine gaming on that, though? I mean,
that'd be pretty crazy. I mean,
like, the 21 by 9 already encompasses what I feel like is most of my peripheral vision.
Yeah.
This would just absolutely dominate it. And I almost feel like the wider the monitor, like the more trapped I feel vertically.
Yeah.
I'm like, I miss vertical pixels.
Yeah,
I feel like I can't.
It's definitely
like
very, very, very wide.
Trash compactor.
I mean, you see people who do the triple monitor setups, and this seems like a bit more viable than that, because you're not dealing with the bezels, and it's like, having two 16 by 9 1080 monitors for a while would be an awesome gaming setup if it wasn't for the fact that the bezels were dead center.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right.
Is there anything on pricing?
$1,500.
$1,500 freaking bucks. Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty. Honestly, I would expect around that price.
That's for the 49 inch.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a
ones.
32 inch for $699.
And a 27 inch for a little bit less.
A 27, 27 inch. That's also this same aspect ratio.
It didn't mention in the article. It's just part of the.
I feel like that would be like 4 inches tall. That'd be like 4 inches tall.
Yeah, with
like
that aspect ratio, with the 32 by 9
that's
aspect ratio, that would be a very short monitor. But I don't know if this is really practical. I mean, gaming, yes, it's going to kick ass, I would imagine. Practicality, I think it depends on what you're doing, what kind of multitasking you're really looking at. I feel like ever since using my Predator X34 as my daily driver, I feel like I'd much rather prefer two monitors side by side, just for the snapping ability. You have more areas you have more sides and edges of the screens to snap to.
Snapping is nice.
I love snapping. That's just me, though. Like, if I'm streaming, it's nice to just be able to, like, partition things on two monitors than it is on one, I guess. But
Snaps.
Again, it depends on if you're using Excel. If you really need, like, that's actually a really good example of why you need super ultra wide. If you really needed a full comprehensive look at, like, a long Excel spreadsheet or something like that, you wouldn't want to drag that across two monitors and have a bezel in the middle or something like that. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what you're doing. Again, $1,500 is a pretty penny. I'm sure that there's a very niche market who's going to be into that. Moving on, though, we've got a crazy Seasonic titanium power supply. This was shown at Computex this year. I did not get a chance to stop by Seasonic.
Fanless.
But it's completely fanless. This is an article from Anantech. Thank you very much, Anton. This is featuring two new additions to Seasonic's existing Prime Titanium family, which they announced earlier this year. These were showcased again at the recent Computex. This is including a 600-watt unit and a 1,000-watt unit. You don't see 1,000-watt units too much anymore because graphics cards are just becoming much more power efficient. But the 600-watt seems interesting. It's 80-plus titanium, as are all the units in this lineup.
Is the 600-watt the only one that's fanless, or are they all fanless?
I think the 1,000-watt's fanless too. But connectivity, I'm sorry, it complies with ATX 12-volt V2.4 as well as EPS specifications. 12-year warranty.
Oh,
that's a long warranty.
I thought when they went up to 10, I was like, wow, that's as long as the warranty's going to get. Now it's up to 12.
You can always get longer, Paul. You can always get longer.
Impressive.
So fanless, fully modular, flat black cables. The connectivity for the 600-watt anyway, which is model number SSR 600TL, includes two 6+2-pin PCIe power connectors for the graphics cards, of course, 6 SATA power plugs, 5 Molex headers, and 1 floppy connector.
Gotta have that floppy.
Price, though, don't hold your breath, up to $300 US we might be seeing for the 600-watt model. And they give us a range in euros, 224 to 275. 275 being the high end is $300 US. So at the most, this will cost $300. maybe it'll cost $250 at the low end, but it's a very hefty price premium for all the things you're getting here. 80 plus titanium certification, 12-year warranty. Again, though, if you are guaranteed that this thing's going to last you 12 years, maybe, but still, I would imagine other less expensive units are going to last you that long too.
Hold on, though. These are listed separately, so I think that 600 watt unit is the only one that's fanless.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because right here they have the Seasonic Prime fanless titanium 600 watt. That's listed here by itself. Then they also have the Seasonic Prime Titanium Series.
Okay.
Which seems to have a different model number.
Gotcha.
Or maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I could see the 600 watt being the only one that's fanless.
Does it have a dB rating in that chart?
Up here?
Oh, no, it doesn't. Never mind.
No. Just wattage and rails.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well,
fanless power supply.
Fanless power supply, which means I think it has some beefier heat sinks on some of the more the hotter components, just to make sure it doesn't overheat.
Probably.
Things like that. But yeah, if you're in the market for a high-end power supply, I feel like 600 watts is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's a good amount for pretty much any standard single GPU gaming system, and a little bit extra on top.
Yep. This is true. All right, let's move on to the last piece of hardware here for today's hot and heavy hardware, which is the Xbox One X. I know you're all thrilled to hear about this.
Yep.
But I thought I'd just mention it really quickly, simply because it's all the buzz, all the hype right now. This was initially Project Scorpio that we've been hearing about for quite some time. It was just announced 2 days ago. The official name is Xbox One X, which I think is a stupid name first off. And it's basically the next console launching from Microsoft on November 7th for $500. $500. So, okay. It'd be, you know what, and I kind of like it when these consoles come out now, because it gives us, like, PC gamers, more PC-centric users, an opportunity to try to, like, beat it out at the same price. You know what I mean? To try to build, like, another console killer.
You gotta beat it out.
You gotta build a console killer now that's gonna beat out the level of quality that the Xbox One X can pump out for the same price. So all existing Xbox One accessories are going to work with this thing. Microsoft is supposedly going to use super sampling on the new console to make games look sharper, even on 1080p displays. So I would imagine that's something similar to NVIDIA's dynamic super resolution. Perhaps I don't know if it's anything like that, but it sounds like it's super sampling.
That's what super sampling is.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm correct. Do the pizza thing. So it's going to ship with 6 teraflops of graphical horsepower, more than the PS4 Pro, mind you, with only 4.2 teraflops. Lame. Using custom GPU, running at 1172 megahertz. I don't really have any more information on that GPU. It's using a liquid-cooled vapor chamber design inside of what they're calling the smallest Xbox ever. It is tiny. It's pretty darn small, leaning against the Xbox One controller there. You could probably throw that into a backpack, I think.
That's pretty small.
Yeah, so that's good on them for that. Ships with an Ultra HD Blu-ray drive for 4K content.
So that's the only reason that I got the Xbox One S, or like the primary reason.
Yeah.
I was watching Planet Earth 2 on that recently. That's actually really cool.
I bet. 1 terabyte of hard drive storage. I'm surprised there's no like SSD storage yet. I guess they're trying to keep the price down. There's going to be 22 console launch exclusive titles, including Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves, and Forza Motorsport 7, which will run at native 4K 60 FPS.
Okay. Sure.
But, I mean, technically anything can run at 4K 60. Well, I shouldn't say anything. But many games could probably run at 4K 60 FPS if you just crank down a lot of the quality settings. So it's a matter of, resolution versus other filters that might be, adding to the quality of the overall experience. Maybe it's 4K, but there's no shadows. Like zero shadows.
Or tessellation.
No tessellation. Everything's just flat. Looks like Super Mario 64 or something.
No anti-aliasing. Either that's.
But I mean, at 4K though, technically,
Yeah.
you don't even need
Who
anti-aliasing.
needs
Everyone knows
anti-aliasing?
that, Paul. Come on. Stupid. Okay, that's enough talk on the Xbox One X for now. Let's move on to something a little bit more interesting. FACEOFF. Paul and I go head-to-head in a shitty online 2-player game. And the stakes are high this time. The punishment, since I couldn't think of anything else more creative, is death. So one of us isn't making it out alive after this round. So, you ready? Are you ready to?
Actually, I hope I win. Otherwise, I won't have. I won't really be able to do. You'll have to do my half of the show.
No, that sucks. I hope.
Well,
I hope I die then.
You better hope you die.
I'm hoping.
All right.
I can't wait to die.
Do you have your keys?
Yeah.
Bottle opener.
I always have a bottle opener.
I'm getting ready to die.
Never know when you're gonna need a.
Better have another drink.
Never need to die.
Okay.
All right.
So.
What?
Yeah, you have another beer. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I'm working on it.
So the game we're playing today. Actually, we probably need that keyboard too.
Oh yes. Ah yes, you're
Clearly
right.
not prepared for the face-off.
That's okay.
This is called Foosball Game. You know, you're lucky that we're not just playing foosball.
That we're playing foosball game.
That we're playing a online game that's imitating foosball. Because if we were just playing foosball,
You kick my ass.
I'd probably beat you.
Like physically?
No, not. I mean, well, I mean yes, physically in a certain sense, but not like.
With your fists, like you
No, I mean I probably win.
like domestic abuse.
I'm pretty good at foosball.
Oh.
So that's what I'm
Well,
trying to say.
I'm pretty bad at foosball.
Well,
So maybe I would surprise you with how.
I also say
bad I
that
am.
having not played foosball in like quite a few years, but I used to be pretty damn good at it. So, who knows? But
Well,
more to the point,
we'll see if that translates to a digital environment.
it might. You never know. All right, so we're gonna do 2-player.
It's a very complex game here. I don't know if we'll be able to even like fathom or get a hold of all the controls. Scroll down.
Should I? Is it playing already?
No. Scroll down.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Scroll
is, but
down.
whatever.
Oh.
Okay, so
Player one.
I'm W and S, and you're up and down. So
Okay.
it's gonna be tough. You know, we're clearly in over our heads.
I am player 1.
So I don't think we're playing yet. Unless, did you plug this in? 2-player.
It might have already been going. I'm not sure.
2-player.
2-player. Okay. Oh, and
I'm the blue guy.
The kicks happen automatically.
The kicks happen automatically
Looks like I just scored.
on yourself.
No, I'm red.
What?
I'm red, and you scored.
Oh wow! I was facing the
by
wrong
the way,
way.
it's all right. There is a score. There is score on either side, right? Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. This is really
Kicking your
sucks
ass,
that
bruh.
You can only control all of them together because.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, there we go.
Good Lord!
It is 2-2 now.
You'll never get it. You'll
Yes.
never get away with this.
Oh, I totally moved. I moved out of the way. This is bad.
Oh my God! I'm so good. It's not even fair. Oh!
Oh.
Give you that glimmer of
shot on
hope.
goal.
Give you that glimmer of hope.
No.
Let's go.
Gotta move the ball down the
Let's
field.
go, you
Got it.
pansy.
All right. No.
Oh, that aim. That was some David Beckham shit right there.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
That was just from
Cheap shot.
That was the transition.
That was like
right
right
there.
after the ball rolled in. That was
Transition foos.
cheap as hell.
Isn't cheap.
So cheap.
Strategy.
So cheap.
Like that. Oh.
Oh, like that. Oh.
So close. Stop it. Oh God.
Oh Jesus.
That's so scary.
I'm so good. Oh, just believe, Kyle. Believe.
Just
Just believe.
how many shots on goal you had there in a row? Damn it!
Yes. Yes! I win! You
it?
die!
That's all?
Yeah.
No, it's not best of 3 or anything.
All right,
like
we'll
that?
do best of 3. Sure. We got time. We're still good on time.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
I gotta stage a comeback here.
All right.
Figure out how this
See what you're made
game
of.
works. Do
We'll
anything.
give you a second chance.
There we go.
Oh, come on.
There we
yeah,
go.
you know. Gotta give you one. Gotta toss you a bone every once in a while.
I blocked that. That was bullshit.
Sorry, man. Just
This game is poorly coded.
your golden days
Come
are over.
on. That's ridiculous.
You hit your peak at 15 in the game of foosball. Oh,
There we go.
Shit.
Tied it up. Okay.
I'll put it in my butt.
Now is the time when champions are made. They're born in the fires of
Mordor.
Think of something besides that.
Jeez.
But
Oh god!
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god!
trying to
Oh look
keep
at look
the
at look! I'm
angle
just
on.
going all the way! I'm going all the way!
No.
Ah, I'm going home!
No.
Ah!
That was a midfield battle. Look at that block right there. That was clutch. No!
Oh!
Jesus!
That was nuts!
Jesus!
All right. My quads are getting so ripped right now.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Just trying to play the transition right there, but it was...
Feel the burn!
Oh, this is terrible. This
Woo!
is terrible. We got this is match point right now. Things are not looking good for me. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, oh man.
This
This is hard to watch, ladies and gentlemen.
This is frustrating.
This is hard to watch.
It's
Oh!
frustrating. It's frustrating knowing that if we were actually playing foosball, that I would be better. Be much better. All right, you win.
It's the wrong platform. Okay.
Kyle wins 2-0.
And then, sorry.
And stop yelling.
I get really excited and I yell sometimes.
Kyle's super
If
excited.
you know, anytime face-off happens, just crank the volume all the way down.
Yep.
So, Paul's dead.
Paul's
We
dead.
can carry on. I literally have no other punishment than Paul dying. So, Paul, do you promise everyone that after we stream this episode of Awesome Hardware that you will die?
Yes, well, after sushi.
After sushi.
After
of course.
sushi.
Yes.
That'll be
You
part
wouldn't
of
want to
it.
miss that.
Thank you.
At least you'll die happy.
Thank you for allowing me
can
to
go
spare
ahead.
my life until then.
Pull this guy off.
At least have a final meal or whatever.
Not that I pull guys off regularly. Okay.
All right, time for news.
News! There's only 2 or 3 stories here because we're trying to keep things quick for sushi. But the first thing I want to talk
For
about
sushi's sake.
is Threadripper 1950X
Hey.
performance has been leaked out. This is an article from none other than WCCF Tech, so watch out. Take everything that I say here with a grain of salt.
Could all be lies and,
It's all lies
and
and
subterfuge.
Yep. It's a big ruse. So the Ryzen Threadripper 1950X was tested in Geekbench. This is the 16-core, 32-thread monster with a base clock of 3.4 gigahertz. I believe it was running at stock. There was no mention of it running overclocked in these tests. It features 32 megabytes of L3 plus 8 megabytes of L2. That's 40 megabytes in total, in case you can't add. And the chip was tested on an ASRock X399 professional gaming motherboard, which was featured at Computex. So in the Geekbench single-threaded tests, it scored 4,167 points, while scoring 24,539 points in multi-threaded applications, or in the multi-threaded test, which is pretty damn good. It's pretty solid, actually. WCCF Tech went on to compare these results to an Intel Xeon E5 2697A, which has the same core and thread count with a turbo frequency that matches the base clock of the 1950X Threadripper chip. And what they found was single-threaded performance scored 3,651 points, which is slightly lower than Threadripper, and 30,450 points on the multi-threaded test, which is higher than Threadripper. So what we're seeing here is sort of like it's trading blows based on whether we're talking a single-core or multi-core performance.
Interesting. I wouldn't have called Threadripper to score higher on the single core and lower on the multi-core.
It's kind of surprising. Again, all speculation and stuff. But
so, yeah. I mean, but yeah, again, of course, assuming this is actual.
Again, it's a Xeon too.
So it's a Xeon, but I mean, this is a recent Xeon, right? It's a Broadwell E Xeon.
Yeah.
And Ryzen instructions per clock performance has been roughly on par with Broadwell E.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pretty decent jump over that, 4167 versus 3651.
Right.
But also might speak to, does it say the memory that it was running at? Because the Infinity Fabric is what ties all the CCX units together.
16 gigs at 1065, right there. That's on the 1065.
Right here?
That's really low.
So if the memory is actually running at this speed, then again that would seem weird. But
it's even weirder, yeah.
I don't know. Infinity Fabric is what ties the CCX cores together, and that who knows? I'm just speculating at this point.
To infinity and beyond.
And this all might be nonsense anyway. But
true.
Interesting, I guess.
What's also sort of exciting is that the Xeon core that we're talking about here retails for around $3,000.
Oh.
And I would imagine, I think it's safe to say we're all expecting that this 1950X Threadripper chip is going to be significantly less than that.
Yes.
So if you can get, assuming that these numbers are true, if you can get, better single core performance than a $3,000 Xeon for significantly less money, I'd say that's a pretty good bargain. And plus, even if it's not getting quite the same performance on the multi-threaded scale, you're still getting 16 freaking cores and 32 threads.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Whether you're doing gaming or just productivity stuff. So TLDR, Threadripper continues to look promising, and Intel should be scared.
Cool.
And wetting the bed. Next up, we've got another Intel announcement here from E3. This happened a day or two ago at the PC Gaming Show. Kind of a surprise, actually. I wasn't expecting Intel to announce much juicy news, but they announced the dates of which they're going to be releasing and pre-ordering their Skylake X and Kaby X processors. No one cares.
Some of the Skylake X
Yes,
processors.
of course. It all varies. The mileage varies here. But the dates that we're seeing are 4, 6, 8, and 10 core parts. So 4 through 10 core parts are available for pre-order from June 19th, which is like in a week or so. And then you've also got those same parts shipping to consumers on June 26th, starting out. And then 12 core parts are expected. Just the 12 core SKU is expected to ship in August, which is just a one-off. It's just that one SKU. Only the 12 core SKU is going to be in August, and then the other high core count processors, 14, 16, and 18 core parts, are going to be shipping in October. That's what we know right now.
File this under stuff that should have been told to reviewers 3 weeks ago.
Yes, because Paul and I still don't have processors to review, and
that would be useful.
And it's just strange that they didn't announce this at.
Also, I mean,
Computex.
just when the initial information that was provided to reviewers, which was provided about a week before Computex actually started, presented all of this in one package. There was no discussion at that time of, by the way, half of these CPUs that we're telling you about now are like super paper launch and not coming for months still.
Right.
But obviously they were trying to, throw some distraction out there from the stuff that AMD was talking about. But also given the estimated launches of these, we might have Threadripper stuff coming well before this is out. So you might have AMD actually preempting Intel on some stuff, but more on that on my half of the show.
Indeed. And then I don't want to talk about anything else about that. We'll just move on to the next story, which is the last one, because we still have a bunch of donations to go through.
Oh, donations.
PCI Express Gen 4 specifications have been recently unveiled. This is an article from Engadget. So PCI SIG, I'm just going to call them PCI SIG, is the organization or the community that's responsible for maintaining peripheral I/O standards and specifications, and they finally released the specs for PCIe Gen 4.0. This is going to give PCs twice the throughput speed, up to 16 gigatransfers per second, as previous 3.0 connections, with backwards compatibility. So very much like we have.
Can we real quickly just say that this is a
shittily worded article?
The article here
as we
from Engadget.
As
I
we
mean,
give
just
them
the
a shittily
headline.
worded
Just the
critique.
headline.
No, yeah,
If we
I
may
agree.
provide some critique to Engadget here.
Yeah. It's very
Good on you reporting on PCIe 4.0. I mean, it's a little bit more of a, techie, I think, kind of thing. Engadget, I
Tom,
mean,
it's
they
way
get
out of
into
your
tech
league,
stuff
Engadget.
twice as fast, though. Come on, guys.
It's super.
Upgrading to 4.0 is not going to make your graphics card any faster.
Because PCIe Gen 3 was... Now we have twice the frame rates that we had on PCIe Gen 2, right?
It will provide...
That's how that works.
It will provide more bandwidth.
Not speed.
It's a wider data path. It is not twice as fast.
It's like a girthier penis.
By
but it doesn't
default.
necessarily
Anyway.
screw any faster. That's a
Right.
messed up
It's
analogy.
a perfect metaphor.
See, now they'll learn.
that makes
now
sense.
they'll learn with that metaphor.
Okay.
I'm speaking their language now. All right, so you have more headroom. You have more bandwidth. You have more room to pump data through. Doesn't necessarily mean that data is going to be moving twice as fast. You're not pumping it twice as fast. Hey, the full circle. All right, the analogy worked. But you have more potential, I should say, to move faster. Thank you very much for those faces in chat. Those Craigasms.
Shout out to people in chat who have noticed that I have not fallen asleep in this episode.
Drink every time Paul's not asleep. All right, so PCIe Gen 4, that said, still has to undergo a final IP review before we start seeing video cards supporting the new spec.
It's going to come first, the graphics cards or the motherboards?
That's always the question.
It's weird because two high-end desktop platforms are launching like right now.
Yeah.
Threadripper and the Intel stuff, the Core X. Neither of those have PCIe Gen 4.
Right. And you know what's weird is the article is also saying that PCIe Gen 5 might be coming as early as 2019.
It also seems soon.
That seems soon. That means what? PCIe Gen 4 is going to be around for a year? Just one generation and it's going to go? Or maybe there'll be some overlap.
They're generally pretty good with backwards compatibility when it comes to PCI
True.
Express, so...
It just seems like it's all coming at once.
Yeah.
She said.
Just everywhere. But yeah, there was also like PCIe Gen 2 to Gen 3, for example. There were the awkward situations like with X79, where X79 was Gen 2 when it first launched, but then there were ways you could force Gen 3 because there was like it was like the controller was capable of it, but it wasn't like validated, so there was like some weird stuff you could do to force Gen 3 mode and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't know if there will be anything to that effect when it comes to like the X299 or X399 motherboards that are launching right now. But given that we're looking at within the next year, this is supposed to be available. I don't know. I don't know these things.
No one knows.
I just like throwing out hypotheticals.
But we were looking up some random specs earlier on what PCIe Gen 3 is currently offering in terms of bandwidth, and I feel like we're already starting to max that out with really fast like NVMe M.2 drives.
Yeah.
So PCIe Gen 4, if it's not gonna be saturated by the graphics cards anytime soon, at the very least, we might see some gains in the storage department, or some more headroom there.
Yeah, the 960 Pro M.2 SSD, for example, from Samsung, can hit 3.5, 3.6 gigabytes per second, actual, direct sequential reads.
Yeah.
Rates are a little bit slower, and that's getting pretty close to PCIe Gen 3. A by 4 connection for PCIe Gen 3 is about 4 gigabytes per second of actual throughput.
Indeed.
So yeah, it seems like as we're also on the cusp of having faster SSDs, when we see like hopefully Optane technology in more devices and that kind of thing, can actually make use of PCIe Gen 4. So
yeah,
cool.
All right, so to sort of wrap things up here, let's quickly go over some of the donations that you guys threw out. For the record, we forgot to mention this at the beginning, but since we're sort of pressed for time tonight, we're only going to be calling out donations $5 or more. Just from taking a quick gander at the existing donations, it only looks like one person donated less than less than that, so we'll just read theirs out.
We have classy viewers.
Yes, we do. El Jefe Reviews, thank you for your donation.
Thank you, El Jefe.
No comment attached. Clint Flippo, for the $20 donation, my motherboard has 2 x16 physical and electrically wired PCIe slots. The manual recommends the top one, but doesn't matter. It looks so much better, and the tubes from the hybrid cooler aren't so bent.
Doesn't matter, Clint.
Doesn't matter.
Go for that lower slot.
Yep, do whatever you... Put your thing in whatever slot you want.
Yep.
Don't tell them I told you that, though.
Your second slot will probably run at by 8 when you put the card there, but you're still totally fine with that.
Yep. Hayden Haslam for the $5. Would you guys recommend I upgrade my graphics card from a EVGA GTX 1060 for the win to something better? I have a Sabertooth X99 with a 6800K and 1440p monitor. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. From the basic specs that you're listing here, I'd say your GPU is your bottleneck.
Yeah.
If you're going to be gaming at 1440p, then you definitely need a faster card to sort of suit the really fast processor that you've got in there, and the higher resolution as well on your display.
Yeah, look into
like 1070 if you're not trying to spend too much.
Try to find a bargain 1070, or keep an eye out for the next hopefully month or so, and there might be Vega cards dropping, and you might see. We have no idea what the product stack for that's going to look like, but hopefully there's going to be something that competes with a 1070 in there. We would assume. And yeah, that'd be a nice upgrade from you for the graphics card side.
Yes, indeed.
Lucky Dog 24, thanks for the $5. If I turn off my PC, it won't turn back on. Only posts after trying like 50 times. Guess I'll leave it running until I build a new PC. Post issues or boot issues are
tough.
A pain in the ass. But it... So it likes a warm boot. It doesn't like a cold boot. It's hard to say without more information. I'm not sure if you're overclocking or anything like that.
Try resetting all the settings in your BIOS, restore to defaults, get into your BIOS if possible, and restore everything back to normal, see if that helps at all.
A BIOS update could also be potentially that solves a problem like that.
UEFI update or BIOS update, and then just double check every single connection.
Yeah.
Sort of. What I like to do sometimes is rebuild the system in my head, just like follow all the wires and make sure everything. Sometimes it works. It's a good troubleshooting thing.
Some suggestions from chat. A lot of people pointing to the power supply, so that's often a good potential issue for something like that. If you have a low quality one, check your CMOS battery. A dead CMOS battery is definitely something that can cause issues.
Swap it out with another one.
Reseat your RAM. I have a feeling if your RAM's not seated right, then you would not be able to get a successful boot up through there. Or people saying you've got bad capacitors and your motherboard's just dead, which could also be a problem, But hey, try that other stuff and see if any of it helps out. Hopefully you got some suggestions there. Flippin' Fred, thanks for $5. Thank you again. You got a raise on Patreon, Kyle.
Sweet. Thank you, Flippin' Fred.
Thanks, Fred.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to say thanks even though I don't benefit at all from Kyle's Patreon. But, I appreciate it.
You don't
it makes
contribute
Kyle
to the Patreon, so you don't benefit from it.
Well,
if you were a contributor, like these gentle people are, then you would benefit. You would have seen my awesome Intel sketch by now.
Oh, yeah, I still haven't seen your Intel sketch. Supposed to check that out.
Yeah.
Hayden Haslam.
Hayden. Oh, again.
$5.
Thanks again,
Hayden. Thanks, Hayden. Turning
21 in a week, and I was going to buy a beer glass from each of your sites, but the shipping costs more than my cart totals. Why? It could be maybe based on your location.
Yeah, it depends where you're at.
If you're abroad or if you're overseas, then the shipping can be pretty pricey. I think our t-shirt guy, our merch guy, is actually sort of undergoing like a new shipping, or he's looking into new shipping methods.
Yeah, he keeps trying to tweak stuff to make it a little bit less expensive.
Yeah, he's trying to work on it. So we do apologize if
you order from both of our stores, you will at the same time, especially if you put a note, it will get shipped together, and then you'll get a refund for part of your shipping cost. So that will probably help you out, especially for shipping a couple glasses.
Yeah.
But sorry about that. We know shipping costs can suck, especially if you're out of the country.
Yeah. You know what the best thing to do is just buy a shit ton of stuff from both of our stores. That way it'll outweigh the price of the shipping.
For sure.
There you go.
That's the way to do it.
Serpent XSF for the
Thank
$10 sent you my setup on Twitter. Is there a difference between custom sleeved extensions and regular sleeved modular cables the PSU vendors sell? Yeah, there is. Generally, I mean, you're getting a different quality. It's from a different company. If you're buying it, sleeved extensions, every company has their own sort of level, degree of quality, how they sleeve it, the material they use. If you're just getting it from the power supply vendors themselves, generally, I mean, those aren't going to be extensions, right? I think that's what he's talking about. If they're just straight cables that go directly to the unit.
if you're talking about like EVGA, EVGA sells complete replacement cable kits.
Yeah, they're all
use.
They work just as well, but just the level of quality might vary from vendor to vendor.
Yeah,
and the materials used.
I mean, any sleeved kit you're gonna buy at a certain price is gonna be like you get what you pay for. So, a full kit from a custom place like in Sourced Customs or something like that is gonna cost $90 to like $130, $140 depending on how many cables you're buying.
Right.
But it's all hand done.
It'll be show material.
Like paracord instead of alternative materials.
Yeah.
What's the other material that's nylon-based materials, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty true. You get what you pay for.
Like I've used the EVGA ones, and they're nice. The replacement kits that they sell, they're not as nice as like the in-sourced stuff or the stuff you get from like. Who else have we kind of heard from recently who does that?
Mainframe Customs.
Mainframe Customs does it. WazMods.
WazMods.
It's a smaller. I know a guy, but we've met him and he's cool. So that's cool. But yeah, I like patronizing some of these the smaller guys who do it because, like I said, they're usually just small businesses with just a few people who put them together and everything.
Yeah. And
you can get some pretty nice quality stuff from them.
Yep.
Just make sure it's somebody who's got at least a decent track record.
Yeah.
Who you're going to buy from.
Yes.
And it can really finish off a build in a great way.
Indeed. Ghost of Harambe. 10 British pounds.
10 pounds.
Hey guys, keep up the awesome work. Do you have any info on the new Corsair Hydro series? Also, what's the temperature difference from a 280 to a 360 rad, would you say? My Core i7 6850K is running a bit hot at 4.6. I don't have any information on the new Corsair Hydro series. I didn't actually take a close look at it at Computex.
Really?
Did you?
Investigate? They're updating the Hydro series. The blocks are RGB. They look a little bit nicer, I think. They have 3 layers of RGB, like a base around the outside edge, and sort of a ring around the middle, and then the Corsair logo in the middle that lights up too, which I thought all looked pretty cool.
Is the tubing still sleeved, or is the tubing a little different now?
The tubing I did not get a good look at, I can't say, but it didn't stand out to me as any different. I like the sleeve tubing that they do. It's kind of thicker.
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty good. And I believe they're switching up to fluid dynamic bearing fans.
Okay.
Which are nice.
Instead of ball bearing?
Yeah. Which is cool, and they did have a 360 millimeter version on display, which was cool as well.
As far as the temperature differences, I don't know, it kind of ranges depending on the hardware that you're cooling, I would say. But if you're just talking about a CPU, you will notice a couple degrees cooler, generally speaking. I feel like you're still going to be pretty good if you're just cooling that CPU. A 280 is going to be fine. A 360 is going to be marginally better. But as long as you're well below your TJ max, like you don't really need to cool it like 5 degrees cooler when it's already 30 degrees cooler than TJ max, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and when you're talking about radiator size for something like that, it's not going to be as effective when you're talking about like the temperature spikes that you can get as you increase a CPU's overclock, where typically you need to start adding voltage and that kind of thing. That can increase dramatically, going even with something like 4.5 to 4.6, 4.6 to 4.7. Increasing the sizes of your radiators is more effective for like adding more hardware to the loop. If you have a CPU and a GPU and then you need to add another GPU or something like that, is typically more common for increasing radiator size versus keeping the temperature down with something like trying to hit just a little bit higher of an overclock. The amount of heat that can be drawn away by the liquid moving over the CPU block is the main issue there versus the radiator size that you have.
Yeah. Long story short, you should be fine with a 280. Crafty Hack. Thank you very much, Crafty. $5. If no after party, you risk irrelevance. Just saying. I know, man. Tell me about it.
I spilled beer on myself.
I'm not promising anything, as always, but if Wifey Sauce can convince me when I get home to play, if she's feeling it, then I might.
I do want to get back into that.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
I know we've been totally.
Oh yeah, we haven't done it in like months.
Yeah.
But
still getting over jet lag. Believe it or not,
yes.
It takes a good two weeks to get completely back to normal.
It does.
So I can't promise that I'm going to be awake very late tonight.
Especially in sushi coma.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Jr. for the $10 donation. What CPU and GPU would you put into a console killer to compete with the Xbox One X performance and also compete in price? I'd say one of the newer Pentiums, maybe. The newer Pentiums seem pretty solid.
Like, it's hard to build a $500 computer. It's probably going to be less about, like, here's what I can build for $500 and more about, like, here's double the performance for, like, $150 more or something like that.
Yeah.
But also, hard to say because this is all stuff that's just been announced. So,
right.
Yeah, that's very difficult to say. Off the top of my head, I'd say try to build the cheapest computer possible with like one of the quad-core Ryzen CPUs and like an RX 570 or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's probably going to be a decent amount above $500 right now.
True.
But yeah, I'm sure once we get more details on the Xbox One X and all that stuff, there'll be a lot more of like, here's how to build a faster computer for this much money.
Yeah.
Dan Blake, $5 Canadian. Kyle, no yawning.
All right.
Hey guys, big fan. I've got a FX 8350 paired with a GTX 1066 gig. I'm wondering when I upgrade platform. Should I go 7700K or Ryzen 1700X? At this point, I lean towards the 1700X just because I like more cores, I like more threads, and you can get into that for less money.
More versatile, cheaper.
Yeah. Lucky Dog 24, $5 donation. 7700K for streaming while gaming, or sacrifice some IPC for more cores. Again,
sacrifice more.
If you're talking about streaming and gaming, I'd go for more cores.
Do Ryzen.
Ian Stickles, $5.
Stickles.
Thank you so much. Have you guys heard anything about the 1080 Ti Poseidon? Seems to be out of stock everywhere. That seems to be an issue. I saw a tweet of a picture of it today, of the box.
That's close enough.
That's
the closest you'll ever get to a Poseidon. That's close enough for us.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe that's something that you know they're gonna do just a slow launch of, and it'll be hard to find for a while.
Automatic Matt, $5. Kyle, take my money. I'm late.
Thanks, Matt.
Well, thank you very much, Matt. It's okay if you're late.
Money taken.
Next time you should come early. Naughty Neptune, $5. Asus versus Acer monitors. Which would you recommend? They're both great.
Yeah,
they're both fantastic.
They both do a pretty decent job.
They kick ass.
Probably. All right. So I mean, it depends. They both have high-end lines and they both have budget lines.
Yeah. Depends on what
like they stay pretty competitive.
Go with the one you like the look of the best.
Yeah, focus on size, the type of panel that it is, the color depth that's available, the refresh rate, whether or not it has G-Sync or FreeSync support, hopefully one or the other, and then compare the offerings from both, and hopefully you can find one that's like on sale.
Yeah,
and stuff, but.
That's what I was going
honestly,
to say.
when it comes down to it, the panels that they use in a lot of their monitors
the
are going to come from the same manufacturers anyway. So it's just a matter of
OEM,
like the kind of housing that's built around it, and how much of a deal.
People are talking about your fan.
What?
Talking about your shield fan.
Sorry, I turned my fan off.
Okay.
Bad.
Your fan's causing problems. All right,
Bryant Alvarez.
Lastly, Bryant, for $5, thank you both for inspiring me to work toward getting an A+ certification.
Congratulations.
Keep up the great work, and I hope to have it by the end of July. Awesome, man. That's really great.
Preemptive congratulations.
To you.
Thanks, Bryant.
It's kind of funny that we inspired you to do that, because neither of us have an A+ certification.
No, nothing
We're hardly educated.
Close to it.
I barely made it out of junior high, you know?
Junior high. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I was pretty dumb back then.
Mr. Higher Education over here. All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
That's gonna do. Wait, Johnson's.
Oh yeah, Johnson's. Damn it! I always forget those Johnsons. Creeping up.
So many Johnsons.
Creeping up on you when you least expect it.
Wait a second.
Why can't I remember how to access Gmail?
Oh, good. I have no Johnsons.
Really?
I mean, not good, but we can end the show a little bit earlier.
I have a couple Johnsons.
No one bought one from me.
Johnson for Jacob, who got the Thumbscrew Men's Heavy Metal Grey T-shirt, which I believe is the same T-shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Which has a little bit of beer on it right here.
Ooh.
You probably see that.
It's fun.
Sorry about that.
Every shirt comes with an original stain.
That'll go away, though. That will go away. And Ryan. Thank you, Ryan from Virginia, who got a 20-ounce pub glass. Actually, two 20-ounce pub glasses. Thanks very much, Ryan. And Kyle has nothing.
Nothing. Shut up. I'll totally sell more than you on the other half of the show.
You can buy Kyle's stuff on my half of the show.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break. If you're watching YouTube, will be my half on the link in the description. If you're watching Twitch, stay right where you are. We'll keep it going.
Well, BRB, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube.